Good evening, good people. This is your host, Calvin Anderson, for the Check In with Podcast, Season 3 at present. I have another amazing guest with me today, all the way from the States, Dr. Shannon Daneshrad. It's an honor to have you here. Dr. S is a licensed psychologist who provides individual, couple, and family psychotherapy. Dr. S has experience working with a wide range of clients, children, teens, and adults in a variety of areas, including anxiety, depression, trauma, substance abuse, sexual trauma, intimacy, ASD, and ADHD. She has a particular interest in working with teens and adults and with families struggling with issues of family conflict, including high conflict divorces and family law disputes. She's experienced in family reunification therapy, in refuse and resist cases, and parental alienation cases. She also works with individuals struggling with dating, marriage, separation, divorce, bereavement, workplace issues, and life transitions. She is also the founder of Century Psychology Group. I mean, I could have went on for a longer period of time, listeners, because her experience is so vast and wide. But we'll hear more from the guest herself. So give a warm welcome to Dr. Shannon Daneshrad. Dr. S, how are
Mm,
you?
I'm good, thank you so much. I laughed in that because the list just kept going, and what's funny is you're right, um, there's so much more that I do too, but it just sounds so funny when you spell it all out. It's like, "Oh, wow." But every person is so different with different issues, and I've come across so many unique individuals that, yeah, it covers a lot of bases.
I love that. I guess for me, Dr. S, and the listeners, I would love to know what made you decide this is the pathway, this is the career path and journey I want to embark on.
You know, I think like most people, I've had an upbringing that was incredibly influential, and I was fortunate enough as a child to experience therapy, and then from it being something that my parents suggested to something I elected to do on my own, I just really always saw the benefits and I understood how it helped,
Yeah.
which has really shaped how I approach being a therapist because I utilize those early life experiences as a means, like the blueprint that shape us and shape our present and our future.
Yeah. Talk to me about that because I guess once you become a therapist, everything changes. Your whole conversation, how you view your relationships, how you view yourself. How have you managed to adapt like your training into your work life balance, into your social settings and everything? And how have people been, I guess, knowing that you are a psychologist and you are a therapist at the same time? How has that been?
It's a funny question. And I'll preface it with saying therapists are still human, and the best coaches are not always the best players.
Yeah.
And I say that because I am still learning every day. There's sometimes clients that sit in front of me and the way they've processed something, the way they've understood something, I'm so fascinated by it. And I'm like, well, I could adopt that idea too.
Mm,
So it shapes me in that I feel like I'm still, this teacher and the student at the same time. But I also don't always bring my therapy self into my relationships, which I don't think you should. I don't think, personal and professional should always be separate.
I love that answer. I love especially because you mentioned having the separation between work and life. It's good to have that balance. So thank you for that. Speak to me on because we read out your bio, which was extensive. Speak to me, Dr. S, on individuals and couples, and in terms of them coming to therapy and the difference in the working alliance when it comes to working with both.
That's a great okay, so individuals and couples, similar and extremely different in the work. I'll start with individuals because, it always starts with us.
Yeah.
A lot of us see ourselves as these like independent, rational beings. And what we don't actually understand is how much of us is shaped by really unseen forces, like our beliefs, our fears, our desires, all inherited from our past. And then we get into these couples and or these relationships, I should say, not even couples. This could be your family, your friends, your romantic partner, whatever it is. And they become these mirrors of these unforeseen forces a lot of the time, where suddenly you're seeing all these insecurities come out, these fears, these certain dynamics about ourselves that we thought we had under control and are presenting when we're interacting with somebody we love and care about. And then that's where I think it's so important to look at relationships and attachment because relationships are one of the most profound ways to understand who we are. So even in individual work, I'm constantly trying to understand the dynamics of relationships around them. And then in couple or family work, I get to see it, which is really, really cool. But even then, I'm seeing them interact, not their inner workings entirely. So I still need the background lens because that's really what's being presented most of the time.
I know the background lens, Dr. S, is that something that you inquire about first and foremost before you begin the work?
Yeah, I mentioned this just a little bit ago, but I really do see our past as the blueprint of what's going on right now, and that's with ourselves, with others, how we feel, how we react, all of it. So yeah, I when I meet with a couple, especially, something I'll say is like, "Tell me who you are," right? Not just who the couple is. It's two people at the end of the day, and it shouldn't be this enmeshment. It's important to keep that independent identity.
And Dr. S, do you think it's important to, if you're working with a couple, to work with them individually as well, or do you feel like they should have their own separate therapy outside of you?
I'm so biased. I'm like, the more therapy, the better. If you're in couples therapy with me, go get your individual therapy, go get your family therapy, get it all.
Yeah.
But I'll say, like, sometimes, people will come in because it's easier to confront a problem with a partner next to you than alone. And so sometimes couples therapy can be like this gateway drug where they're like, oh, I want to know more about myself. I can't have a dual relationship where I meet with them individually and then as a couple. But sometimes with couples, I'll meet with them, then I'll have like 1 or 2 sessions with them alone, just so they could fully tell me who they are, what's going on, their past experiences. But yeah, I always suggest, like, if you're in couples therapy, if you're any type of therapy, look into more ideas of how else you can enhance your life through therapy, because there's so many ways, there's so many modalities, treatment types, all of that.
What modalities would you say, from your experience, and obviously you're still learning every day, would you say work well with couples? Obviously, every couple is different, but just as a basis, which modalities would you say, okay, I would definitely recommend these approaches?
So I'm a psychodynamic psychotherapist. So like I said, I really do look at the unconscious and the past and all the influences of our early life. But just like we preach to our clients, there's not one way of doing things. You have to see what's in front of you and adapt.
Yeah.
I do adapt to the people in front of me. Some people need a more structured approach. Some people need a more emotional approach. And that's to learn how to engage with each other emotionally or to engage with each other more fairly,
Mm.
taking turns speaking, things like that.
How do you like to navigate your sessions, Dr. S? Because you said something so key just now when you said to make sure that everyone is able to speak. How is it that my question more so let me tailor it even more is what is the preparation like for you compared to working with someone individually to when it comes to holding the space for two people?
That's a great question. I would say the preparation isn't that different
Mm.
in that I'm still really trying to understand, okay, this individual and this individual, who they are and how they work as a couple. And I'll say to them, there's individual issues that get put into the couple and make it a couple issue. And then there's couple issues that impact the individual that makes an individual issue. And so really the preparation In an individual session, they come in and they are in control of the entire room, right? I'm following their lead. They want to tell me something, I'm there with them. And I'll inquire a lot, right? I'll branch off from tidbits that they say. But with a couple, it's two people demanding the room
Mhm.
and they really need to be heard. And what's cool is sometimes you watch in front of you when as they interact exactly what the problem is. So I think that's a really cool insight you don't get with individuals,
Yeah.
where it's like, oh, they're wondering why they never complete this problem,
Yeah.
why they never find the resolution. It's, well, we've revisited one aspect of it 9 times in a cycle.
Would you prefer, Dr. S, individuals or couples?
Oh my gosh, I can't decide. I even love families. I I think I'm one of those very fortunate, and I do realize how fortunate I am in this way.
Yeah.
I have never ever had a day of work where I didn't wanna work. I've
Wow.
never had a day where I was like, "I hate what I do."
Yeah.
And a part of me is wondering, will that come? Will it not come? What's going on? But I can't even explain it. People are just amazing. Being in this position, the lens that I get into people's lives, their psyche, their emotion, underneath, all the barriers and the shields that they have for the outside world, I'm fascinated. Humans are so beautiful. They're so authentic. They're so vulnerable. I wish we could have people show that side of them more. I think the world would be very different.
Dr. S, why would you, or give me, I guess, the reason why people don't show that aspect of themselves to the world?
Being human is feeling a lot. It's feeling everything. And that's scary a lot of the times. And sometimes we are not equipped with the tools necessary to confront certain fears, insecurities, people, and we have to learn about that, right? Like the biggest um I take pride or reward of therapy, in my opinion,
Yeah.
is awareness. Because I really do see awareness as like this freedom to life. It's sort of this where like magic happens because it offers us a power to make different choices. We're built a certain way, we're influenced early on in our lives, nature, nurture, whatever it is, we are influenced. The kind of example, and this might be cheesy, not to deviate, I will say is like, imagine you're driving a car and you're constantly driving forward and navigating with a cracked rear view mirror. But you don't realize that the lens in which you're navigating the road ahead of you is inaccurate. And you go to therapy, you get that awareness, you fix the mirror. Now you're able to see an entirely different road ahead. It's clear, it makes sense. And that's what, self-awareness and therapy ultimately do for you
Mhm.
is you get the freedom of choosing how you want to live. And so often we don't realize we're not free in that way. What's so deep within us doesn't allow us to present authentically.
That's so powerful, Dr. S. I'm trying to even feed off of that and ask you something else. What do you think is needed for one to express this deep inner aspect of ourselves to people, and just life in general? What would need to be present in order for us to be able to do that more?
I'll say it's not a one size fits all model. We all have different needs, but
Yeah.
maybe to cover some of the basis is emotional security, emotional regulation, security in general, stability with others around us. And again, like going back to relationships,
Yeah.
right? Like how you want to present to someone, it depends a lot on you, but also depends on the person in front of you. And sometimes we choose people who are more familiar, which can be very toxic and unhealthy, than what's healthy, which is different and unusual, but we don't know how to navigate that. So we stay as ourselves and we keep choosing people that remind us of our past, but we know what that's like. So we know how the story ends. We keep getting into it versus changing both ourselves and the people we choose and
Mm.
who we surround ourselves with.
It sounds like you're talking or heading more into trauma bonding.
Trauma bonding, yeah, and just, we will repeat patterns of our lives until we're ready to learn the lesson. And that lesson comes from doing the work, digging in, understand what got you here. My entire motto of my practice, like truly my mission statement is I believe on the source, working on the source, not the symptoms. If you come in and you tell me I have a headache and I go, here's an Advil. Great, your headache's gone, but you have no idea why that headache came. So that headache will come back. But if you go, oh, I know why this headache was here. I haven't slept. I've been drinking water, whatever it is that's contributing to it. Now I understand how to avoid this, not re engage in it and go, oh, yeah, this is that. I should get out of it. It's, I'm not even going to step into that arena. And that's it with relationships. That's really what it is.
Doctor, speak more on relationships, just in a general senses, before we, I guess, go further in. And this might be a very broad question, but you can definitely narrow it down. Is what makes a relationship something that's healthy and nurturing? Would you say?
Well, like I mentioned before, I do think relationships, romantic in particular, we'll
Mhm.
start there because you have to think about the concept of attachment here too.
Yes.
They offer such a unique lens into ourselves. They challenge us, they comfort us, they expose our deepest insecurities. In relationships, what you're ultimately trying to identify is what's it bringing out of you? What do you need? Okay, that's first and foremost, it's like, what do you need? So it's not just what is it's showing up as. Is so often we don't realize that what makes a healthy relationship is the idea of we understand our needs and our partner understands our needs and vice versa with their needs. That plus the effort it takes to offer needs and vulnerability that it takes to be honest.
I love how you mentioned attachment, and I love how you mentioned in terms of understanding our needs and our partners understanding our needs too, and having that collaboration and cohesiveness to meet those needs and even go above and beyond it when need be as well. Take us further into attachment. And I would probably say for the listeners, mention the different styles of attachment and then take us further in, please, if that's okay.
Oh, that's a big one. So I think attachment is really overlooked in our attachment style. It's essentially how we learned to first connect with others. And that follows us through the rest of our lives. That's why it's so important to know your attachment styles, to your point. I can get into like the main buckets of it, but the reality is like if we had caregivers, to break it down essentially, who
Yeah.
were inconsistent, we become anxious in our adult relationships, right? We're constantly worrying if we're not enough or if our partner might leave us at any moment. So that it's insecure, avoidant, ambivalent attachment styles. But if we're raised in what they call secure attachment in an environment that is nurturing, reliable, we know what's expected, what's predicted, we're more likely to trust the people that we're supposed to count on. And the thing is, when we shift these patterns, which we can, people don't realize that. You can be raised with a very anxious attachment style and move into secure
Mm,
with work, a lot of work. It's
yeah.
not an overnight success.
Yeah.
Um, we stop being that like destined cycle of repeating this style in our relationships
Mm.
again. And then this is to the point of like, but first we have to understand where it comes from. So attachment style is really the essential of understanding yourself, not just about your childhood and that part of your life, but like the lifelong framework for how we experiencing intimacy and trust.
Thank you for mentioning the attachment style secure, anxious, avoidant. I wanted to ask about each one, or I have a question for each one, if that's all right. So if I start with secure, I think one of them I would ask is, do you believe that most people have good intentions?
You're saying, like, if I'm a secure person, what is my, like, psychological framework to that
Y-
question?
yes.
Yes. So, yes, a secure person typically believes that others are well-intended
Mhm.
and not that they're perfect by any means.
Yeah.
Secure doesn't mean it's a absence of issues but there's a trust and we could deal with the issues.
Anxious attachment. Dr. S, do you think someone with an anxious attachment framework often worries about their partner leaving or not loving them enough?
Yes. That is the anxiety of the anxious attachment.
Mm.
It's from that inconsistent parenting of their childhood,
Yeah.
and is my partner gonna leave me today? Is my partner gonna love me today? Is this a good day? Is this a bad day? They're not talking to me. What does that mean? Everything
Mm.
feels high stakes and scary, really.
And for avoidant, someone who has an avoidant attachment or framework, Dr. S, do they prioritize independence over relationships?
Yes, to put it simply, but I'll add to it because
Please.
avoidant attachment style is actually one of the most interesting to me because I think it's sort of hard to detect at times
Mm.
because somebody with an avoidant attachment can be very much wanting a relationship. It's not that they don't, but it's the minute that they get into that relationship and they feel the intimacy, they jump away. It's like, oh, whoa, 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 I wasn't ready for this.
Mm.
Right. So it's like this initial desire into a latter fear
Yeah.
that kind of repels them from the dynamic, and they don't realize it until it's happened enough times,
Yeah.
right? And they'll meet, like, a fantastic partner, and they'll be like, "I really like this person, they're so great logically, on paper, logically, I see this person, they're absolutely wonderful. Emotionally, I need to get away." There's something in me being like, "Find the flaws, get out." So I think avoidant usually is actually difficult to overcome because it's difficult to detect. It
Yeah.
takes time.
Dr. S, what would you say, I guess, because you said it's hard to detect, what would you say are like because obviously it's not going to be the same for everyone because avoidance is an array of things, but are there key things that stand out that let you know, okay, this person actually does have an avoidant attachment, or is there like signals, or how do you detect it?
Well, one is seeing the patterns, right? If I'm sitting with a client and I'm like, we're on girlfriend, boyfriend number 10, and
Mm.
it's ending the exact same way. That's obviously a very obvious version of detecting. But, I'll often hear a lot of times, like, this person's wonderful. I can't tell you a flaw, but there's something in me wanting to get out, right? And they'll start to present in certain ways where they've never had sexual issues, for example. And suddenly they're like, I can't perform in bed with this person.
Yeah.
I'm disconnected. And I think I love them. We have a great time together, but there's this internal pull away.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Dr. S. That's so enlightening and gives so much scope to that attachment style. You gave so much scope to all of them, but that one specifically makes so much sense in the way you gave that analogy and the way you spoke on how a person may feel and how they may operate. Dr. S, speak to me more on, because I know you're a psychologist and you're a therapist.
Yeah, yeah.
What made you say, I want to study psychology and I want to study psychotherapy?
Well, they're essentially similar. It was just why I chose to keep going down a very long educational route.
Yeah.
Um, like I said, in that I'm still somewhat of a student with my clients as much as I am a teacher. I like learning. Therapists, like I mentioned too, are humans. We are constantly evolving. There's always more to know. I think sometimes, maybe it's a little hyperbolic, a dangerous person is somebody who thinks they know it all.
Mm.
And I know that there's more to learn. I know there's another book, another article, another theory, another something that I personally can learn that would make me better, my practice better, all of it.
Yeah.
So And not to say that a great therapist doesn't stop at, a certain level educationally. They can be absolutely wonderful and continue to learn. For me, it was I really liked the structure, the collaboration of having a community going through that with me,
Yeah.
and developing more and more into myself. I wanted to feel I take this job very seriously and I wanted to take on that responsibility by really challenging myself to learn as much as I could and can still.
Yeah. That's amazing. What's the next step in the learning journey for you?
It never ends. I started my practice a little over a year ago. I went out on my own. I was always in private practice, but I decided to do it myself. And now I'm learning a new part of me that I never knew, which is somebody who actually really likes business. I never would have thought, to be honest. But as much as I'm learning as a psychologist for my clients, I'm learning as a human, which makes me a better psychologist because I'm becoming relatable. I understand challenges and starting over and taking on something new, all of that.
For anyone that wants to come into the field, Dr. S, what advice would you give them today?
Be patient, be open.
Mm.
This to be a therapist, to sit with people's emotions hour by hour every day, it could be really, taxing,
Yeah.
but it could also be incredibly rewarding where you will learn within yourself what is yours to take on, what is to keep in the room, all of it. And sometimes as we are human and we get triggered, someone says something to us, that's an opportunity for us to dive and that will happen in the beginning of your journey.
Yeah.
You will hear things you've never heard before because you're exposed to so many different types of people you would have maybe never interacted with before. And so be patient, be open, be vulnerable. Let yourself feel the feelings that you're telling your clients to.
That's an amazing piece of advice, Dr. S. Thank you. Before you go, I wanted to ask some fun rapid questions so the listeners can get to know you better. Is that okay?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Dr. S, what is your favorite season and why?
Uh, Not so profound, but summer, I like the heat. I run cold.
Okay.
Honestly, right now, I'm in Los Angeles. It's what, 72 degrees. This is someone's perfect ideal day. I'm cold. I'm wearing a long sleeve. I got long pants on. I have socks on.
Yeah.
Um, so because of my internal body temperature, I love the heat.
He. Do you have a favorite quote, Dr. S?
Oh, yes, I do. And you know what? I should have been more prepared to know who said the quote 'cause I don't know who it's by. It's not me.
Yeah.
My favorite quote is choose your heart.
Mm.
And I'm going to butcher, obviously, the verbatim of it, but the person who said this quote said it's the examples he gave is choose your heart. Either path is hard. If you go familiar or you go new, it's hard. Saving money is hard, being broke is hard.
Mm.
Exercising is hard, being obese is hard, right? There's like these dichotomies of like comfort versus difficult challenges. It's all hard,
Mm.
no matter what. You choose to stay the same, it's hard. And if you choose to change, it's hard.
Mm. Dr. S, if you could create a quote right now, what would it be?
Oh, that's such a good question. The things you might think is a weakness is probably your strength.
Can you unpack that for us?
Yeah. So, like so much will I hear people say to me, I'm too sensitive. I'm so emotional. Like as if it's a bad thing,
Mm.
where a sensitive person, you have insight into a world other people don't. You're so fortunate. You understand emotions on a level some people may never. So what somebody may see as a weakness may be their ultimate strength. Might make you a great therapist.
Definitely. Dr. S, if you could work anywhere remotely in the world, where would it be and why?
I mean, of course, what first comes to mind is like paradise, right? I'm thinking like a tropical island.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like my family, my friends all live so close to me or within driving distance. I couldn't imagine being anywhere away from them. If it was a vacation, sure. I
Yeah.
mean, take me to Europe, take me to Bora Bora, take me somewhere.
Yeah.
But lifelong, I think I would stay where I am.
I love that answer. Dr. S, do you have a favorite book and film?
I have multiple favorite books.
Okay.
I'll give you just 3.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to give you 10, but I'm gonna try to pick 3.
Go ahead.
One is The Alchemist,
Great
because
book.
I've read that at different points in my life, and it has served different meaning each time. One is When Breath Becomes Air,
Mm.
which is a really profound true story. And the third is Esther Perel's Mating in Captivity, and that just speaks to my love for couples and intimacy and all that.
What about films or film?
Oh, I'm such a cheesy person when it comes to films. I love rom-coms. I'm almost, like, embarrassed to say, like, The Notebook. It's not profound, it's not that intellectual, but it's so beautiful to me.
It's a classic film.
Um, for me, anything, like, entertainment-wise has to be entertainment. I'm not the type of person that, like, wants a psychological thriller because that's my day. When I'm home in my pajamas watching TV,
Yeah.
I prefer something just easy and happy or beautiful.
And last question, Dr. S. Finish the sentence for me. If it wasn't for therapy, I would be
Career-wise or as a human?
whatever you like.
If it wasn't for therapy as a human,
Mm,
I would be lost.
mm.
If it wasn't for therapy as a career, I think I'd be unfulfilled. I don't even know what else I imagine myself doing, to be honest.
You said lost. What did you mean when you said that?
Therapy has offered so much insight and awareness into who I am. Even like the smallest thing, right? The way that I react slightly when somebody asks me maybe a little bit of an uncomfortable question has given me this idea of what just happened to me? Why did I act like that? It's like, oh, like this is the feeling that just came up around that.
Yeah.
I would not have known that if I didn't learn it in therapy as a client and as a therapist.
Dr. S, how important is it for us as therapists to be in therapy?
It's so important. Therapists need therapy. We need help. We're human. We are not above it.
Amazing.
As much as sometimes I'll sit there and talk to myself, it is not the same.
And last question now. What can we expect from Dr. S in the next 2 to 5 years?
I hope so many things. I hope to keep doing podcasts. I hope to keep expanding my practice.
Mm.
I have 2 wonderful associates right now, and I hope to keep growing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope to share my knowledge more with more communities.
Yeah.
I don't wanna say the world 'cause, it's a little grandiose, but, I like to be out there more. I love to share what I know, and I don't know everything, so I want to learn from others in collaboration.
Doctor, if someone's heard you today and they want to reach out and talk to you outside of the podcast, what is the best way for someone to reach you?
Go on our website, centurypsychologygroup.com, all spelled as is Century Psychology and Group, no spaces, no dashes. There's a contact page on there. We'll always get back to you within 12 to 24 business hours. And we would love to hear from people who want to come in for therapy. We could see anyone in all of California virtually. If they want to come in person, we're in the heart of Beverly Hills, ready to see you.
Amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been your host, Calvin Anderson. We have had the incredible Dr. Shannon Daneshrad with us today. Have a lovely night. Take care. Speak soon. God bless.
Thanks so much.